Hello, hello. How are we doing out there? Right, we're going to go live today. I haven't done this for so long on my own channel. But I am, here we go. I've got such an absolute powerhouse on today. Talk about all things energy and abundance and astrology. So let me know. Hi!
Hello.
Hi, darling. How are you?
Wait, let's see if there's an echo. 1 second.
Uh-oh.
We're just gonna take off the mic. I was trying to make it all quiet and good, but that's okay.
Do you know what? It sounds exactly the same.
Okay,
So with
good.
the mic, without the mic, your voice or the sound hasn't changed one bit. So
Yay!
it worked. How are you?
I am so excited for today, and I cannot wait for our conversation. It's
I know, me
such a
too.
beautiful day. First of all, I love your background. Like, you
Thank
look
you.
amazing. Like, what's
Thank
going on?
you. You too. Thank you. Where are you right now? So I'm in Ibiza in Spain. You're in.
So right now I'm in New Orleans taking
Okay.
care of my mom. My mom had a stroke in May.
Mhm.
Normally I'm in Florida, so normally I'm in St. Petersburg.
Okay, perfect. So we are in two different, completely different locations in the world, but really high energy vortexes, right? So this
Yes,
is
New
really
Orleans
exciting.
is a crazy amazing vortex, and it's so I always call it, it's like Atlantis and like Lumeria all in one, because there's just so much ancient wisdom in New Orleans. So I always love to come back to my ancestral home.
Yeah, amazing. Well, they say that Ibiza has the same connections as well.
Oh,
Yeah,
of
yeah, yeah,
course.
yeah. So we'll definitely have to talk about that at some point. But first, what would be really lovely? I think I would really love you to introduce yourself and your work. You've got such an incredible story. Um, so yeah, can you tell us a little bit about that, your background, where you're at now? Would be amazing. And then I've been looking at your astrology,
Ooh,
and
I
I'm so
cannot
excited
wait.
yeah, I'm so excited for some of the things that I've found.
I can't wait. Okay, okay. All right. Hello, every amazing, amazing person watching this now on the replay. And I'm going to bring this onto my podcast. So we're going to have a good time.
Yes.
So I'm Christine Michelle. I am the founder and creator of The Aligned Soul by Anna Hab personal development brand. I have a history. I was a corporate executive for 20 plus years because at the time of this recording, I'm 49. And yeah. And so at the I was a corporate executive in marketing. I also was a CPA for Deloitte before that. And I always in my entire life, my mom is a psychic as well. She is an intuitive, all of that, passed down to me. But we always included, I call it woo do. We always included the woo plus the do. And so I was always one of those people that was very, very creative, but also very strategic. And I could walk in like in line with all parts of me, right? Body, mind, soul, strategy, like all the things. And so I you knew since I was 6 years old that I would have my own business. And I even told my mom, I told her here in this bedroom that I was going to like move to New York and be in the beauty industry and do all those things. So everything that I predicted as a 6 year old child unfolded. And then I began the coaching industry, walked into the coaching industry, the transformational industry. I love what I do. And the reason why I love what I do is because what I do helps so many women bring their gifts into the world and impacts, like the ripple effect is just crazy. Like I've had clients that have created, multi-million dollar businesses with $97 product. And I've had clients that have left toxic relationships, had miracle babies, like, and also just really impacted thousands and thousands of people. And I like to think that because of what I do, because what we do is very different from like the nervous system regulation and some of the things that are taught, because I'm all about movement and really healing as you're moving, like not waiting and always being in the mode of remembering that you are divinity. And that's something that we lose because we're always looking outside of us for healing, for answers, for things like that. Like I always say, the guides are within me, and my inner God voice is always leading me in the right direction. And that's an important piece, especially for women, as we have been told that we can't trust ourselves, we can't trust our inner God voice, we can't be in charge of billions and billions of dollars and creating economies. But the truth is, we've always have been, and the divine feminine is saying that there's no other way. And so that's a little bit of a background.
I love it. I love it. Thanks so much for that. It's so interesting that you say that about the divine being within us and us trusting ourselves, because I feel like that about the astrology as well, because so many people think that in astrology we're outsourcing it to a bigger power when we're not. It's like an alignment with
Yes.
the energy, right? It's aligning ourselves with that energy in the same way that as you teach, and your modality is to align yourself with the universal energy.
Yes, I love that. And because I always say there's no tool I don't love. Like I love a
Mhm.
tool if we
Yeah,
remember it's a tool. And
yeah,
when we think of, like, I love to see like if I am, and I love to say divinity in motion and God in a human body, in a human form, like I'm walking in that energy, then that means that the spark, source spark within me created the cosmos, created the astrology. So that means I get to look at what I created and see how I get to use that for my benefit and for the things that benefit me, right? So I used to always say, my client, she would come to me and say, "It's Mercury retrograde, blah, blah, blah." And I would say, "And how are you, like, how is this benefiting you?" I used to always say everything works better for me in Mercury retrograde. Like I just decide how things get to go and make sure that it is in my benefit, and
exactly.
so yeah, I love that.
Exactly. I'm the same. It's Mercury retrograde right now, and I'm like, great, okay. What are we going to do with it? How are we going to use it? And whenever because I live by the coast here, because I live in Ibiza is a small island, so I live on the coast. Every day I take my dogs for a walk along the sea, along the coastline, which is
Oh,
really rugged. It's right in the middle of nature. There's pine forests, it's the beautiful cliffs and everything. And I'm looking out to this expansive sea, thinking and saying, "This is me. I'm part of all of this energy. What are we going to fucking do with it today?
yeah.
Um, so I know that you get that. I know that.
Oh, you're speaking my language. I love,
Yeah,
because when we realize we're one with everything and there's nothing outside of you, then
exactly.
you can only win. You can only succeed. You can only, like everything gets to work in your favor,
Yeah,
because you're like, okay, well, that's interesting. What am I going to do with that? Or what am I going to, what direction do I choose? And so I love that. Love it
yeah,
all.
yeah, exactly. So I'm really curious because it sounds like you grew up in an environment where using different, not what we can see, not what's tangible, the psychic ability, they're speaking with guides and all of that. Was that something that was totally normalized for you from the get-go when you were growing up with your mom, or was it something that was hidden? How did that evolve for you?
Oh, I love that. So my mom, I think she just, okay. So in my community, and there's just, we call it the knowing. people just have the knowing. They don't see it as what we call, psychic abilities, clairs, and all that stuff. It's just like she got the knowing. She got the
Right.
knowing. And so
Yeah.
that's the way they say it. So my mom's like, just we got the knowing. Great grandma, she got the knowing, right? So it's something that's in a melanated communities that's like you got the knowing, right? And so they don't see it as outside
Yeah.
of religion if they're a part of religion. So my parents are Christian, but they always taught us to ask, believe, receive. And so everything that people were talking about with like my mom would say, just write it in your journal. It'll happen, right? Ask, believe, receive. Like they would say, just ask it, it happens, right? Right. And so for them, it was ask God, ask, you know, um, tap into the spirit, like that kind of stuff. That's the way they talked about it. And so for me, I would say I'm not religious or anything like that. I'm really in tune to spirit and to inner divinity. But if I look at the way I was brought up, it's almost the exact same, but just taking away from like all of the um things about Christianity that make us feel like we're sinners or make us feel bad, or that, because my parents never really taught us that piece of the Christianity, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Okay. Yeah. 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 Brilliant. And so you were able to bring this into the court, into your corporate.
Yes, I brought it into everything. When I was 6 years old, I decided that I was going to be valedictorian of my high school. So I actually became the first Black valedictorian for my high school. That was because I wrote it in my journal, because my mama said, if you write it in your journal, it happens, right?
Mhm.
So I wrote it in my journal. This is what's happening. This is what I'm doing. And so everything, even when I was coaching and leading, like I have, what, 20 plus years of clients and not clients, direct reports that still come to me because I taught them manifestation, or I taught them how to create their own reality, or I taught them like how to get the new job or the next job, right? Because I was always like, if you're not going to work with me forever, like let me show you how to win outside of here. And so I always brought that in, and to me it felt normal,
Yeah.
right? It wasn't until I come into this and I'm like, no one else does that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, well, let me just talk about it more so everybody can do this. So yeah, so I like I said, is woo do, because it was like, okay, this is just who I am. And when I try to, one of the things I've been talking about recently, the art of expansion, because
Mhm.
the way we do tools and things like that, or modalities, is because we silo. So here, do your inner child work. Here, do your nervous system regulation. Here, do your strategy. Here, and so we piecemeal it all. And so, or here is masculine energy. Here is feminine energy. Instead of I'm just it. I am the energy. I don't need to
Mhm.
separate it. It's one source.
Mhm.
And so I started to fall into that game when I came into the industry. I started to separate and silo and feminine this and masculine that and all of that stuff. And it totally like took me out of the flow. Like, I'm like, but I led billion-dollar brands, added hundreds of millions of dollars. And then I came into this industry and thought 20-year-old, kids in
Yeah.
Bali knew more than I did. And I was like, what is going on, Christine? So I had to end up filing for bankruptcy and end up creating so much drama
Gosh.
in my life to come back to voodoo, come back to
Mhm.
what I knew, come back to being one source, one energy, come back to that. But I needed that because I needed to be able to see what everyone else is doing. So I could be like, yeah, no, come on
Yeah,
back.
exactly. Exactly, exactly. Coming back to you and the power that you knew that you had
Yes.
right from the get-go.
Yes.
Yeah, wow, how fascinating. And how what that's a really that must have been a really challenging lesson to go through all of that. Wow.
You know what? Okay, so I've been in the industry since 2013.
Mm,
Yeah. And so back in the day, it was when you needed that bottom to the top story. It
yeah.
was like you need a bottom to the top story. And I didn't. Like, my parents absolutely love each other. They're together since 1969. We love each other. I think they're all Starsies. They don't know it. But anyway,
Yeah, yeah.
they all love each other. They came here to really anchor in love, right? To
Yeah.
anchor in, so my brother, my sister, and I, my sister's my very best friend. We live together. Like, that's like, we just love each other. We barely had divorces in our family. Like, this is just what we were meant to do, to anchor in this love, anchor in like this activation of love and this ley lines, right? And so I thought that no one would want to work with anyone who just had a great life, had a good
Mm,
life. Like, of course, I mean, yes, I've dealt with racism. Yes, I've done with all of that, but I was like, that's just being in America,
yeah,
and my skin
yeah,
color. Like, to me, that doesn't mean that I have the horrible life, right? And so I thought I had to create some kind of drama. So I used my manifestation capabilities and I created drama. Like, I created the bankruptcy. Because
yeah.
I'm like filing for bankruptcy, charging my clients $900 a month for coaching, and my clients are hitting $102,000 days.
Wow.
And it made no sense, right? But it was because I thought I needed a bottom to the top story. So guess who created a bottom to the top story so that she could sell her things, and so people could relate to her and all those things. And now
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like, I
yeah.
don't need that. You don't need that. You don't need, if you're watching this, you don't need a bottom to the top story.
I was going to ask you that when you started talking about the bottom of the top story. I was like, yeah, that was going to be my next question. Did you manifest that?
Yes, I
Yeah,
created it.
yeah,
I created
yeah,
it. And I was like, I didn't need that, but I
yeah,
thought I did. I
yeah.
totally thought I did.
And the thing is that I mean, because I've had some interesting money stories and rock bottoms and things like that, and I've lost six figures, 150 like overnight. And it was such a valuable lesson. It's so valuable for like understanding worth, money energetics, and the energetics of, well, you can lose it that quickly. It can
Yes.
flow out that quickly. It means you can flow back in again as well. It's just, you can recreate it again, which is a really valuable lesson, certainly for me.
Yes.
So interesting. Tell me more about, I love how you call it voodoo. So the woo is the spiritual bit, the do is the doing. That is essentially what manifestation is, because too many people sit around going, I'm manifesting really hard to make it happen. It's like, but they're not actually doing anything. They're not actually taking the action as well.
Yes, you're not taking the action. Yes, so for me too, voodoo is the unification of your divinity, right, in this human body. So walking as God in this human body.
Mm,
Because when you remember or really anchor in the fact that you are source, then there's nothing right outside of you. Which means that you are creating, I call it materialization, right? You are intentionally receiving, also known as manifestation, right? You're intentionally saying, this is what I desire, this is what gets to happen, and you're materializing it. And you can go to, I love to call it like, you are both the sugar baby and the sugar daddy. So if you remember that you're both sugar baby and sugar daddy at the same time, you get to say, I desire this. I create this, right? I desire this, so I'm creating it. I desire this, I'm giving it to myself. And that's a big piece of, to me, when you think of woo-doo, like, there's too many people that are saying, I'm creating this, or I'm sitting on the meditation stool, or I'm on the yoga mat, or I'm doing yin yoga, or I'm doing all this stuff, right, trying to regulate, trying to get calm, and then thinking everything, all the money's going to land in because I'm regulated. But the truth is, you gotta move. And everyone watching this, especially like your clients, my clients, if you chose to be an entrepreneur, you chose to have a non-calm life. Like, you chose to do things and be in what the quantum leap, which is the unknown and the unexpected. Unknown and unexpected feel chaotic at times. They feel
mm,
uncomfortable at times. To move, you got to be on the edge. And so what I feel that people are missing when they think that they have to regulate themselves is that they're missing the feeling of feeling alive.
mm,
Like, yes, there are reasons, especially when 2020 happened. Yes, a lot of like trauma and all of these things started to come up. But this is 5 years later. We have done so much regulating. It is time to move forward. And so that's what Voodoo helps you do, is to live and move and be in the moments of chaos, the moments of not knowing, and still moving, like
mm.
still allowing source that's within you to move you in the direction that you get to go. And so that's a big piece of
Yeah,
just creating success in this world.
yeah, 100%. That resonates so much because it is in the chaos. Everything is created in the
And
chaos. Everything in this universe, right? I say
Yes.
this all the time. Diamonds are made under pressure. The stars, everything. So it's yeah,
Yeah, because we talk
amazing.
about so many different intelligences. One of the intelligences we don't talk about at all is adaptability intelligence. So we
Yeah,
talk about emotional intelligence, we talk about, regular intelligence, but we do not talk about adaptability intelligence, the AQ. And so women have been just women especially have been like lifted up when they are fragile Fran. That's the archetype the archetype I talk about. So fragile Fran falling apart. I don't know what to do. If you watch movies, it's like, I don't know. And then the
yeah,
man comes in and says, I have the answer, which is not true. That's not what happens in real life. In real life, women are usually the ones that get the kids, get them dressed, get the things. And if something crazy is happening, she's the one who organizes everything, gets the funeral together, the one who drops I mean, I even think about my mom. When my mom had the stroke, my sister and I are on the phone. We're like, okay, we're coming. We're like, boom, we got the things. We got the doctor on the phone. We're like, da da da. My brother, he got here, yes, and my brother's so smart. He's so good at what he does. But guess who got him here? His partner. She got him here. She got him here. She got him together. She got us to. And so this isn't saying that men aren't great. They are. They're great executors. They're amazing. We love men. But what I'm saying is that the fragile friend was created by the patriarchy, created by a system that wants women to only do one thing, and because they can't create. We
yeah,
are creation. We are the multidimensional things. We pull out spirits from the unknown through our womb and we
yeah,
make it 3D. Like we are creators, and they don't have that creation. So how to control creation is to control women. And
yeah.
so that's why Fragile Fran was created. And so when we got into the trauma and really doing like it's trauma, this is a trauma response. This is trauma this. And like you need to regulate, we lost the feeling of feeling alive. We lost the
Mhm.
feeling of moving when things are disruptive. We lost the feeling of choosing joy even in difficult situations. And so that's some of the things that I love to
Mm.
talk about and work on.
I love that so much. Oh my God, it resonates so deeply. I love it. We definitely need to have some more deep chats on all of this.
Yes, yes, thank you.
So look, can I tell you a little bit about your chart and what I've
I
seen?
want to hear all about it. Give it to me.
I'm looking at it here. I'm looking at it
Oh,
over here. And one of the first things that I noticed actually um, is that you have a lot of like there's lots of different layers to astrology and astrology charts, but we have the four elements. So the earth signs, air signs, water, and fire. And you have um, a lot of water, which is emotions,
of course.
right? And I'll explain a little bit more about that. A lot of water, a lot of fire, hardly any air, a little bit of air, and no earth, which is really interesting because I'm all earth and fire and no water. I've got no water in my chart. So I'm very grounded and very, stable and solid. And that totally ties in with you having all of this water. It was immediately like it's so psychic, like so, like the knowing, like knowing everything, like an emotional level, in so many different ways. And you've actually got something that we call a grand water trine.
Oh, what's
So
that?
everything in astrology, everything, all the planets and they're aspected in according to degrees. And there's one degree called trine, which is a
Oh,
very pleasant, it's a very easy flowing energy between two planets. But you've got a grand one, which
oh,
means you've got three planets that span the entirety of your chart, bringing in the three water signs. So this is really, really powerful.
tell me more.
And it's bringing in, hold on, so you've got your Venus sign in Venus in Pisces in the 10th house. So Venus is your attraction, magnetism, worth. It's in the 10th house, which is career, which is also your public reputation. So it's the most open or most socially known, the well-known part of your chart. So you've got Venus there in Pisces. So really attract a lot of attraction energy here, a lot of healing energy It's a great money placement as well, and also great for working with women actually, and having real healing qualities there. So healing the public, and then you've got, and then it trines down, it goes down to Mars in Cancer in your first house. So that's, there's a lot of action energy here. And where was the other
Women
one? Oh,
do.
yeah, exactly. And it's like Venus and Mars, they're the masculine, feminine energy, like they're the sex planets actually.
Yeah.
Um, but and then they trine into Uranus, which is the rule breaker. It's the unconventional in Scorpio. So it's the unconventional rule breaker. It's knowledge from somewhere else. It's like channeling information from other, not just from Earth, but from other planes,
Yes.
from other places. Breakthrough energy comes through really, really quickly. So you've got this beautiful, I mean, I've got goosebumps just talking about it, but it's
Oh,
like, it's so powerful in terms of your healing qualities and your psychic abilities and stuff. Just like, it's just there. It's amazing. And then you've got this incredible fire energy that's backing it up, because you've got your sun in Aries in the 11th house. Aries energy at 1 degree Aries, that's like a born leader. And I think you need this fire energy, otherwise you probably wouldn't get anything done.
right.
but
I
but
can
when you,
see the in my emotions.
yeah, exactly. I'm just going to float about and dream, daydream, or whatever. But and it really speaks, like it's so what's the word I'm looking for? Can't quite grasp the word, but you've got this water energy, which is the woo, and then you've got the Aries fire sun in your 11th house, born to lead, uh like globally on a wider network, through online as well, lead people into their future vision and into the new earth, into the new
Yes.
like real trailblazing energy, that fire Aries. So that's the do. It's like your chart is literally saying woo do. That's it.
Love that so much. And I love what you were saying because I had this woman, her name is Danielle Laura, and she is like a psychic medium and she reads for like celebrities. She's amazing. And we were at a conference together, and she was saying that she was like, this is my 124th lifetime,
Wow. Yeah.
1024th lifetime. She said, I have 1023 of my lifetimes are surrounding me, and all of the knowledge from there are like feeding, within me. And she's like they're all here for you to just grab knowledge from all the places. And some of those lifetimes, of course, are, galactic or different.
Mhm.
You're right. They're all around in all types of areas and all types of wisdom. And so I love that how you were saying, because I had a client who told me, she was in my year-long experience. She was like, Christine, it's so weird. She's like, but I feel like you're ancient wisdom plus future wisdom, and she's like, it all comes together. And she's like it's just something I've never heard or seen
Yeah.
before, so this all makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. And I can see the many lifetimes in actually a very grounding energy, and the
Yes.
practicalities of it. Um, and part of your destiny, which you are living already, I can see it, and from what you're telling me as well, but I can see it in your chart that your destiny and your where you're going and what you're living now make to make this, it's almost like normalize it, normalize this conversation, normalize the fact that we can channel and we can get information from different places, and being the healer and bringing those healing modalities into conventional.
Mainstream, yes. Okay,
Yeah.
so I love that you say that because I've always wanted to be like, I wanted to be the person that's bringing it really mainstream. So I know a lot of people are like, oh, you don't need to go viral or you don't need a huge audience. But like, I had this vision of like 144,000 people in a paid experience. Like, those are the type of things, like millions of people, like being on Watch What Happens Live, like,
Yeah.
sitting next to Andy Cohen. Like, those are the types of dreams and visions that I had when I first even started this. And I started to kind of let them go away because I was like, well, maybe I don't. But then they came back full force like a year or two ago. And I'm like, no, this gets to happen. So that makes sense.
Okay.
Does.
Okay, great. because what else I saw when we talk about where you're at right now, I wrote it down. Did I? Because I think, yeah, it feels like right now the season that you're in is like you're putting all of the pieces in place. And I don't know if anything happened around November for you last year, if there was something that kind of like expanded your idea about.
Girl, Trump got elected, and then
Oh, yeah.
so after the election, we won't talk about all the things, but
Yeah.
it was a shot. Like it was, the 4 a.m. wake up. Like this feels funny. It feels like a timeline shift. Something gets to change. I get to help millions of women step into their power, and I have not been the same since November 6th.
Okay.
Not
Okay.
been the same
Yeah. That makes
in a good way,
sense.
a really good way.
Yeah.
Like healing, closing timelines, jumping
Yeah.
boots, like talking about this real spiritual stuff. I'm like, I'm getting back into it. It was like,
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes it's just going to be, it's a little catalyst, not even a little
yeah.
catalyst, but it's just a catalyst to get it moving and getting the motor started again, if you like. And there's definitely more of that coming, but I feel like there was a shift then in November, and there's like putting all the pieces together, putting all the things in the foundations in place,
I
and
love it.
refining and tuning up and like turning the dial up on it, turning the volume up on it. And that, I think that's going to be for another year, or for another year, continuing to do that. I could be wrong, but that's how I see it energetically working out in the chart. And
So another
you,
year of tuning, fine tuning, but that doesn't mean I can't blow up and make millions.
no,
All right.
exactly, no, exactly, no, exactly that. You're going to keep tuning it, refine it, keep doing the groundwork,
Okay.
keep putting it in. There may be some risk, you may be held back in some ways sometimes with that, but I mean that's all part of the process. um
Yes.
but I see, so you do that now, and I see certain, definitely 100% 2027 is blow up year for you. I can see that 100%, if not before. But yeah, that's what I'm seeing at the moment. And actually you've got Cancer down in your second house. Jupiter in Cancer. Jupiter is in Cancer for a year. Jupiter is the planet of expansion, abundance. Um, and second house is about our worth, our possessions. It's more of a tangible energy. It's also our money, how we make money. So there's a lot of potential there right now. And actually going into August, there's one of the luckiest days of the entire year, which is, are you launching anything at the moment? I know you're doing
Yes, I
the
am.
micro
So
offer.
right now, I'm in a 3-day event. It's called the Voodoo, the art of expand. I mean, the anatomy of expansion. So it's funny that you're talking about Jupiter and expansion, because of course.
Yeah.
And then on 8/8, that's when I'm doing my year-long mastermind Divinity House officially opens 9/9, but 8/8 is when a smaller mastermind within that starts, which is source coded.
Yeah.
And so it's a 4-week experience, but it's the entry into Divinity House. So yeah.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Because that week, the 8th of the 8th, 9th through till 11th, 12th, really powerful. And it's all taking place in that second house. So
Oh,
that's like bringing, it's like, I always look at it like bringing the manifestation into tangible form is the second house. That's money, that's worth, it's your possessions, it's what you own, it's the tangible things.
yes, the
Um,
materialization.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, I'm excited to see how that goes, and what happens for you over the next, well, until the end of the year, into next year.
This sounds delicious. It's you know what? Everybody go get, work with Alicia, because this is right on, because this has been I don't want to say a tweaking year, but this has been a year of refinement,
Yeah.
refining the brand, refining like the offer flow, refining like I really am going to start putting some funnels in together, like refining a lot of things. And so like even with this, what I'm doing now feels so good because it's a lot of woo. I've been talking about like voodoo activating like the other 10 strands of DNA. Like we've been really like going into like the wooey of the wooist,
Yeah.
and it's been
Okay.
feeling really good. And so I'm even going more in the woo direction and showing people how to like move energy and move and be magical and be the magic. And so that's I mean it's 100%. Yes, there's a lot of refinement, and I feel like the refinement is going to continue because there's going to be more programs, more, different things that I'm going to be doing along the way. And like, like I said, refining funnels, refining all of the
Yeah.
things so that I'm not necessarily the only sales system. So this
Exactly.
is 100%
Exactly.
accurate.
It doesn't have to be either or. It's and also, right. You've got the under doing all the foundational stuff behind the scenes, and then also launching and still doing your work as at the same time. That's exactly
Yes.
it. And then yeah, prepare for that 144,000 person event. If not before, then definitely in about a year.
I love that so much. My goodness. So, how I would love, because this is also going to be on my podcast, can you tell us like how you started to bring astrology into what you do and like how you work with your clients?
Mhm.
I would love to hear.
Yeah, okay. Well, I started, so I'm similar to you. I started my business online 15 years ago, 2009. And it was before online, it was really a thing, right? The freedom business, it was like really new. It was social media marketing was just beginning to be recognized as a serious place for small businesses or for businesses to use it as a marketing channel. So it was a really exciting time, really exciting paradigm shift as well. It's like it's
Yeah.
so exciting to be involved with, and also to see the trajectory of it and to be involved in it and still be here, seeing how it's refined and how it's moved on, and all the different trends and things that have come and gone and all of that. It's been so brilliant. But I started studying astrology when I moved to Ibiza, which was 2014, and I had an astrology session with somebody, and it completely blew my mind. I've dabbled a bit, I've been a little bit interested, and I was in a place where I was really beginning to crack open at that stage. I'd left my life behind, and I was like, "Who the fuck am I? What the fuck am I doing?" Had an astrology session that explained so much, and that's when I died. Just went straight into the rabbit hole, and it was something that became very easy. It was like a remembrance, really. It was easy for me to learn um, and remember, but I didn't bring it into my work until just before the pandemic in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
I had really resisted it for a long time. So people had been saying to me, I do it as a bit of a party trick,
What's your
what's your date of
birthday?
birth? And then I'd wow people for 5 minutes or whatever. But I would go for tarot sessions and other C's to C reading mediums and things, and they're like, "You have to be doing this," and I'm like, "No, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it." There was so much resistance.
Yeah.
I
Which you knew
think,
that's something on the other side of that.
yeah, exactly. And I just thought, I think I was afraid that um, I wasn't, I wouldn't be good enough. I wouldn't be able to do it. Who am I to be giving this information? It's so sacred.
Yeah.
Um, and also I didn't want it to lose it was very special to me. I didn't want to lose that. But all the in my business and where I was at the time, all the avenues started to like lock down and think like, yeah, exactly that. It was like there was no choice but for me to take this route. And I could see it. I remember watching it happen, like, oh my God, this is really happening, and now I'm going to have to do something about it. So I did, and it just, as soon as I did, obviously, it just blew up, and it just
Of
became,
course it
yeah,
did.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, you are brilliant. And I mean, what I love about astrology, they always say billionaires use astrology,
yeah,
but what I love about astrology, especially when you're going deeper, right, beyond the signs and all of that.
yeah,
Like if we even think about Pluto in Aquarius, right? That the time when Pluto into Aquarius, it was like, oh, whatever happened in November and all the things that happened ever since, that was the only thing that could have happened, right? In
yeah,
order for there to be revolution and shifting and changing and a change of like ways we do things in the world, everything needed to break down. And I feel like understanding that piece of the astrological chart, and when all of the revolutions began 200 or so years ago, or 300 whatever years ago,
yeah,
um it's like, oh, it all makes sense. And it brings such a peace. And it says, what can I do with this
exactly,
information?
yeah,
And so then if you think about like what you just gave me, right? And what I could do with that information, like I always say our desires are divine, right? They're inevitable. Of course, there's a version of me in the quantum suit that's already doing it. That's like, girl, come on, let's go. Well, it's time for you to bring it into the 3D. But adding that with what you give your clients. So for me, for example, I know now 144, what, a million, right? I know that it's already happened, right? It's already
hmm
done. It's already set in
hmm
the stars. And so by me knowing that, there's a different amount of certainty, there's a different amount of showing up that you get to be the catalyst for your clients to be like, yeah, girl, like, look, it's all
yeah,
written in the start, like, do it, like, go, so there's certain ways that
exactly,
you can use this powerful information to add to your certainty, add to your manifestation or your materialization powers, because it's already done, and then that just brings it to you even faster.
exactly that. So many of my clients, they'll say, like, I feel like I'm one step ahead.
Yes.
They know what's coming. And then we also, for myself as well, I was explaining this yesterday, but I'm like, sometimes you don't feel so great, you're in a bit of a funk, something's going on. So the first place that I will go is my astrology. I like what's going on, where's the moon, what's happening here? And I can pinpoint, if a lot of the time I can pinpoint it in the astrology, and then I can use that, I can activate that energy. It's like, okay, well, I'm here, if this is teaching me a lesson, this is what I can drill down into what that is. Is this a lesson around showing up for myself? Okay, then I take this action. Is it around just being okay in the now and being patient and sitting in that, and really being able to use the energy that is presenting in order to activate that higher level of me, and to heal certain parts of things and blocks that I might not normally be able to see. And that's how I use it for myself, but that's also how I use it with my clients, like being able to identify what's going on so that then they can move past it and have the confidence, like you say, the confidence to move and to go after what they want, which is ultimately why they're here, and to reach their fullest potential.
I love that. There's a piece of like when I talk about voodoo, I say it makes the unseen seen.
Yeah,
Because, like, for example, if there's something going on energetically, I move the energy by moving and then I observe what's unfolding. So, what would have stayed unseen if I would have just, maybe sat with it or tried to figure it out, the movement allowed me to look around and say, what is actually happening? And it takes unseen things and like brings it into like reality for me.
mhm.
And that's exactly how you're using the astrology, because it takes things that may be unseen that you could rack your brain about trying to figure
Yeah,
it out, and you're like, oh, this is exactly what it is. I now see it, and now I know how to move. And so that's
yeah,
super powerful. I love that so
exactly.
much.
Yeah, like bringing the unconscious into the conscious, and once you know it, then you can
Yes.
make a different choice, right?
Different choices, the decisions, every decision that you make, it's like it all moves. Oh my goodness, I love entertainment, right? So I was watching Sandman, And Destiny, they all have like there's the brothers, there's Dream who's over the dream world, and Destiny who's over Destiny, and who
Yeah.
they have Delirium, she's kind of cuckoo, whatever. And then who else? There's It's just really funny, right? So Destiny, he's like, tell me what my destiny is. And he opened it up, his book, and he said, this is a blank page. He said, because your decisions decide where your destiny goes. And I was like, this is what I say all the time.
Yeah.
Every decision, every choice we make is creating our reality in real time. And when we realize that that's the power we have, doesn't that make us really want to look at the decisions that I'm making and make them really powerful, make the decisions in the direction that I'm going, instead of making decisions based
Exactly.
on past or like what I think it's,
Yeah,
stories.
exactly, exactly. I love that. Oh my God. Oh my God, goosebumps.
This is so good. Okay, so is there anything else in my chart that you're like, girl, pay attention?
Coming up, let's have a look. um, I really like we've got Mercury retrograde at the moment. Actually, so the next couple of days, I think on the 31st, where are we? Yes, 2 days is like really, really powerful days in general for like,
Mhm.
but it's happening in your third house, which is it's communication, it's mind, it's sharing a message, it's spreading news. If I would look at that day and do something special on that day about your launch or about your mission or getting it out to a wider audience.
Ooh,
Um, yes, and
I
there's really healing energy coming through for you as well all this year. Like really stepping into your healing gifts even more. I know that you're in that already, but there's always another level, right?
always another level. And I've been looking at, like I said, bringing more magic
Yeah.
and showing women how to move energy and more magic. So I've been playing with that myself. Like I'm the frequency queen, and so like anywhere I go, when I sit around people, all of a sudden they're like happy and joyful, and they're like, we don't know
Oh my
why,
God.
and it's
Right.
because of my energy. And so I was like, well, if that's happening without me even knowing or moving or aiming or doing anything in the situation, I'm like, what things could I do more, actually intentional? If our words or spells, what intentional spells can I cast? What intentional magic can we use?
Mm,
So I've been really playing and up leveling this spiritual aspect, this magical aspect, and this healing aspect. So like my mom with her liver, she's got some things. So we've been pulling in some old, like hoodoo things to do, and like been doing some like coffee enemas and like those type of
mhm.
things, and but also like laying hands on the area and just seeing it rejuvenate in its own, like different things like that I want to bring more into the aligned soul world.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I love that. Yeah, very strong. You've got a Chiron. We call it a Chiron return, which happens around if for all women around 50.
Oh yay, I'll be 50 next
It's one
year.
of our yeah, it's one of our final generational transits that we have. Um,
Oh,
and that is the healing energy. So that's just going to come more and more online. And it's also an energy that like we tend to when we go through it, we really give less fucks
oh
about how people take us, what other people are saying, etc., etc. It's like really, really coming into the female, divine female energy, but from an elder perspective. With
yes.
so much wisdom and experience and all of that. And yeah, that's happening for you as well.
Oh, I love that. I don't look like I'll be 50, but
No,
I
you do
am.
not.
And I've had so many people say 30? No, no,
Yeah.
50 next year.
Yeah.
So it's nice to bring in. Do you know how people? I what do we call it instead of the crone? It was a different word that I used that because I was like crone sounds
No, I don't.
older. No, we don't like that word.
No, I know. I don't like that word. I don't like
It's like
being a crone.
right. I'm like maybe I call my ladies the divas, and you can be a
Yeah,
diva at 3, and you can be a diva at 333. So
yeah,
let's just say I'm going entering the diva era. So
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, that's why I said elder.
yes, I love that.
Even that, it's better than crone, isn't it?
Way
I
better
think
than
way
crone.
better
Way
than
better.
crone.
Isn't there a word? It starts with an S. It's coming up in my head that instead of crone, it's
I'm not sure.
sage.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
sage. Yeah,
that's
yeah, 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 yeah,
sexy. The
yeah, yeah.
sexy sage
Sexy
era.
sage. Yes.
We are not crones.
No, absolutely not. Definitely not. Oh, it's been such a pleasure sharing this time with you, and I can't wait to meet you in person because we are going to do
I'm
that, right? We are going to do that in
yes.
September.
Are you? Yes, we're going to see each other in September. Are you also coming to like Freedom Queen Live or anything like
Yeah,
in November?
yeah.
Oh, so we get to hug each other twice.
Yay!
Cannot wait.
For
Oh my
sure.
God. Thank you so much for having me. This was such a blast. Of course, we aligned. Every time you put something in the chat and I put something in our mastermind chat, I'm like, yes, we see. I was going
Yeah.
to say that exact same thing. Like, because we are very aligned with what we
Yeah.
do. I cannot wait to share you with my podcast audience as well. This is
Oh,
just
yeah,
going to
that's
be so
amazing.
much fun.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. And I look forward to our journeys together and seeing how it unfolds. It's going to be really exciting. So thank you
Really
so much for
exciting.
spending some time with me and telling me what you do and sharing it with my audience. It's amazing.
Oh, thank you, and thank you for having me. And we can't wait to see
Yeah.
you in the next experience.
Perfect. Perfect. Have an amazing day.
Bye.
Bye.